let's talk sustainability.
Sustainability. So very, very vague word, very broad word that we use on a lot of our marketing. And I'd like to break it down into kind of like three things. The sustainability of the farm itself, the sustainability of the food system, and the sustainability of communities in general. And so when we look at sustainability, the first thing we look at is what the farmer is doing, is what the grower is doing, whether it's milk or cheese or veggies or eggs, it could be anything, is what they're doing leaving more than what they're taking. So when you do and you participate with nature correctly, 1 + 1 = 3. Meaning that I can tend to this pasture, or I can tend to my garden, and if I do it right, nature will yield something that I will take and eat or make into a candle or soap or whatever the case may be. But what I leave behind, if I've done it right, is more than what was there to begin with. So you think about the nutrients in the soil or the health of the animal or all these different ripples, these trickle-down effects. And so sustainability to us is, are you using practices that leave behind more than what you're taking? That's the first thing. The second thing is the sustainability of our food system. Is the way that we've built our food system with the way that we ship food, grow food, eat food, consume, all these different things, is that in itself sustainable? Will it last into infinity if we wanted it to? Will it last as long as we'll last as a human race? And the answer to that question is debatable, but is also, kind of like, well, will fossil fuels last forever? And the answer to that is no, that is a finite resource. And if we treat everything like we treat how we consume everything, it is not sustainable. And so we're trying to shorten the circle. We're trying to condense the radius of where we're eating from. One, because studies have shown that the health of a community is dependent upon how close to home it's eating, no matter what the diet is, vegetarian, omnivore, it could be anything. You're healthier as a human population if you're eating what is being grown in your area. And two, is it sustainable to the community through the dollars that are being spent? So, there's all these books out there in the last 20 years that have been written about the evacuation of small towns and the ghost towns that are left behind because industry moves or these things happen with the globalization of economy. And I've seen the opposite in the communities that I live in here in Mount Vernon and the surrounding areas, where when we live and eat and support the people that are growing our food, making our clothes, having restaurants that are serving food that is coming from the local areas, not only is all the food and everything and the land being treated right, but the dollar is staying in the economy. So they say that if a farmer from California or Mexico grows a head of lettuce and it sells on the shelf here in the grocery store, that 7 cents of that dollar for that head of lettuce goes back to the grower. And so what we're trying to do is flip that completely upside down and get back as much money to the grower as we can. Our target is actually 65% of every dollar that comes in goes directly back to the farmer for their product. So of course we got to keep lights on. Of course we have to keep fuel in the trucks. Of course we have to keep coolers running and all the things that have to take place to create a food system. But if we can get that money back into our growers, for us specifically, if other industries, I still think that there's an argument to be made no matter what you're making, but specifically for us in the food system, are we sustainably growing in a way that is putting that money back into our economies? And so you've got the sustainability of the growers, check. You've got the sustainability of the food system, check. You've got the sustainability of the communities where the food's coming from. And we buy from all over Ohio, so I'm not just saying, hey, it's got to be within 5 miles. I'm saying if we even brought that circle down just to the state level. Now, over the next 50 to 100 years, those circles got to even get smaller. So, there needs to be 50 yellowbirds in Ohio, all bringing those circles down to even smaller for regions and for Northwest Ohio and for Northeast Ohio and Central Ohio, and then breaking those down if possible, and then maybe trading between them all to get certain things that can't be grown here that are grown here well, and maybe even interstate. I think about Indiana that grows great cantaloupes. I don't really have a great cantaloupe grower here in Ohio, and there probably are some, but I just don't know them yet. But if we worked with Indiana rather than countries away or states away, we're already shrinking those circles down. And so we got to get used to, one, only eating cantaloupe when it's in season for that to happen. But two, are we willing to make the choices and learn about and seek out, with sometimes difficulty, because it's not always easy to find what you're looking for when you're, wanting something, certain, like a cantaloupe in January. It's not available in Ohio, but it's possible. And it takes a little bit of a lifestyle change. It takes a little bit of a learning curve, an educational piece to it, but people are learning, and the transparency that's available through the internet, through social media, all those different things is making it so that we can know. And that's really what we're saying is, can you know, and the yellowbird thing specifically, where all of your food is coming from? And I think that you can. Now, here's the challenge. Avocados, lemons, olive oil, things that just do not grow in Ohio, coffee for the most part. I still eat and drink all of those things. And so there are small portions of my diet personally that I know are coming, that I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know where my avocados are coming from. And I still buy them. But we can get better and we can make strides. And every single choice that we make has an equal and opposite reaction. It has an outcome. And so we're getting there. We just need to continue to get there, because the more stones we turn over and the more growers that we support and the more times we say, yes, I'm going to vote with my dollar right here, and I'm going to say yes to sustainability of farms, sustainability of food system, and sustainability of local economies, it's making a difference.